All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Vendon webinar. First one for me. One of the many webinars made for by marketing team of Vendon. Usually Veronica is in this chair, but this time it's my turn because it's something new for Vendon, not something new for me, really. Yeah, let's speak about traditional telemetry or telemetry for traditional coffee machines. My name is Raivis Vaitekūns. I'm a global partnership manager at Vendon. For those of you who are new to Vendon as a company, let's get into the presentation. So yeah, this is our team, 40 strong people based in Riga, Latvia. Well, now recently we start working with some international colleagues as well, but this is where everything is being really developed. We develop our hardware for telemetry in-house, and also the software is developed in-house. We are very proud of that, and very proud as a team. Vendon as a company is in the market for 12 years already, established in 2011. Now working across the globe from really across all continents. The biggest coverage for us is in Europe, of course, as we are a European company, but very actively working in Middle East, United States, Central America as well. Well, really, the globe. And the solution we do, Vendon hardware connects to a vending machine or a coffee machine. The coffee machines can be a variety of kinds. The hardware collects data from the vending machine or coffee machine, and then it sends to the server. And from the server, it goes further to Vendon Cloud User Interface. So you see on the top right side, there are 3 screens: mobile view, traditional desktop view, and Vendon mobile application. So that's what we do. There are different products around this solution, but in essence, that's collecting data from a machine and sending it to the computer for users to really work with this data. But today we are going to speak about something really new. Something new for Vendon. Vendon has been in the market for telemetry for many years. We understand what telemetry is, how to work with it, but we usually have received data from either, as I mentioned, vending machines, so snacks, cold drinks, or coffee machine, which has been preparing the product and then selling the product immediately. So that would be a freestanding vending machine, in a train station or in a hospital, or it could be a coffee machine that's on tabletop, like in a gas station or in office. So there, the machine does the preparation, and it does really also the sales of the product. Sometimes you pay by the machine, sometimes you pay at the cash register, but there is no real person involved in preparation the coffee and giving you the coffee further. So traditional espresso machine is something completely new. But before we get into details, I want to tell a few words really about myself. Why would somebody from telemetry industry listen to another telemetry industry professional speaking about traditional coffee machines? Because IT and traditional coffee or hospitality scenes is not really the same thing. Quite a big difference, to be honest. And I have had the luck, an opportunity to be involved in the coffee industry, including in hospitality. So in total, it's about 10 years for me. I've been working in a coffee shop, running a coffee shop, consulting coffee shops, training baristas, running business, marketing, a variety of roles. So quite experience in depth, really. But also next to it, I have always been I would say interested in technology. So before coffee, I was working in IT, and after being really in coffee, I'm with Vendon for a couple of years now. So also back to IT. And I have had the chance to found 2 companies really in coffee industry. So I hope that, my credentials give you some trust, and that my advice will give you some value. So let's get into the advice itself. So the big difference, what I noticed when we started speaking about coffee telemetry, and specifically about traditional espresso machines and tracking them remotely. So coffee is not just one transaction, as you would have in vending situation. For example, there's a water bottle, you want the bottle, you buy it, and that is the transaction. If we speak about coffee, when you want to buy it, it also has to be prepared. So either machine does it, not so much of a tracking possible there. There are some machines where we can track some of the data on how the coffee was prepared. But when it comes to traditional espresso, then really it would not be normal to track preparation in that type of coffee machine, because traditional espresso machines usually are not connected. They are not connected to internet, to cloud, or anything like that. So there's a person who does the preparation, and you kind of speak with the person and you ask, so how was your coffee preparation today? Was it good? Were you following the recipe? And the barista says, of course, I was following the recipe. Everything went well. But then you realize maybe there are some, results in your business that speak about, the coffee quality is being varying, how to say it, sometimes good, sometimes bad. So now with telemetry, you can track the preparation part remotely. In my opinion, it's a big deal, because the coffee quality is one of the big benefits that you can really have by using telemetry data. So why would that be important? Why do you want to track coffee preparation remotely? The thing is that often people don't know that coffee is not just prepared beverage. It can be prepared in a variety of kinds. It can be made in different techniques, and it can also be made in different qualities. Taking the same quality bean, let's say there's a high quality coffee bean, by grinding the coffee bean using hot water and making extraction out of it, you can do a good job or you can do a poor job. And the poor job, in the end of the day, it can turn out into a financial loss for a company. Imagine there's a two coffee shop situation. One is doing good job in terms of quality, and another is doing poor job in terms of quality. The same price, clearly people will migrate to the one which is doing good job. So how can you be sure that your company, your coffee shop chain, is doing a good job in terms of delivering quality to the consumer? So you should analyze data. So what can we learn from analyzing data? For example, we can learn that coffee extraction time, which is one of the most important parameters to track quality of the preparation, assuming that the coffee dough that is being used to prepare the beverage, let's call it espresso. So we use certain amount of coffee powder to prepare espresso. Let's say it's 18 grams. And then we extract it with water. So let's say it's 40 grams of water. Usually these two are not varying that much. So a grinder is giving you a certain amount of powder of ground coffee, and coffee machine is giving you the certain amount of water. Therefore, water is usually delivered at the same volume. But what does differ, the grind size does differ from day to day, from week to week, and so on. And varying grind size of the coffee will lead to varying extraction times of the beverage. And assuming that there is a recipe that has been developed for your coffee shop or your chain of coffee shops, let's say the recipe says 18 grams of coffee, 40 grams of water, and the extraction needs to happen in 25 or 30 seconds. So that would be your perfect preparation window, 25 to 30 seconds. If the coffee is prepared quicker, it's bad. If the coffee is prepared longer than 30 seconds, it's also bad. So if you see this data arriving, so you see that extraction times are jumping up and down, or just being too little or being too long, what can you learn from that? So first of all, of course, you can learn that your team is not doing good job. I'm not saying that they are, lazy, which is sometimes true, but many times I've noticed that it's just team requires training. They require training to understand what the recipe is, how to adjust the grinder, and how to follow quality. It can also happen that the equipment itself needs to be maintained. For example, grinder burrs, the part which grinds the bean into equal parts, equal small particles. Also, burrs can become dull, and those would be that would be needed to change for the coffee quality to return to normal. Therefore, you can learn about grinder wear, or you can learn about espresso machine pump not really delivering the same amount of water, which will also result in varying extraction times. Therefore, there can be different things either within the team or either within the hardware itself that need to be adjusted. And in the long run, if you see that your business results are dropping or increasing, and if you compare them to the quality data from your espresso machines, you can draw correlations with quality increasing, sales data increasing, or maybe sales data is dropping, and you can learn that actually the quality is dropping. So these are the benefits that I see that you can clearly gain from using telemetry data and tracking preparation or extraction time remotely. But that's not all. Of course, you can also see how much coffees and which kind of coffees are being prepared. Well, okay, it's not so simple as, let's say, on a Frankie machine or Evisis machine. You would definitely know there's a button which means coffee and milk, and then you see how much coffee was used and how much milk was used. With traditional telemetry, you will not see the milk usage, but you will see which beverage was prepared on the coffee machine. Was it espresso or was it black coffee? Was it double espresso or double black coffee? And from there, you can make some correlations and deduct some information to be understood. But the biggest benefit that you can see from using telemetry and seeing the sales data, you can compare how much coffee is being prepared on the coffee machine to the data on how much coffee is being sold on the cash register. And if the data doesn't match, let's say you see that coffee prepared is more than the coffee being sold. Of course, there is some losses, some wasting always involved, even with the best baristas. You need to adjust grinder. You need purge the grinder. You to just throw out a portion or two of ground coffee. So it's just a procedure. But if you see that you are starting to use starting to waste hundreds of grams of coffee, maybe even kilograms, then you can clearly assume that the barista, they're not doing a good job. Either they are wasting coffee because of their mistakes, or they just lack knowledge on how to adjust grinder or how to do it skillfully in a short time. Also, the same reasons as before, maybe faulty equipment leads to poor quality of beverage, which cannot be served as a product, which is clearly discarded. It's a waste for the company. You don't lose the customer because hopefully barista remade the beverage into a proper one. But with faulty equipment, you can see that again, grinder can produce bad grind, really saying simple terms, and that needs to be adjusted. So you would throw out an espresso. What else? So you can learn that maybe something in the team is not right. Maybe somebody from the team is serving espressos to their friends. I've been in a coffee shop environment myself. That's a usual thing, but clearly that's not in agreement with the business owner. So if you see that the data from beverages prepared really doesn't match with the beverages sold, you can maybe deduct some information about team. Or there's another case where, let's say, a coffee distributor is providing a business with coffee machine, espresso machine, based on the contract where certain amount of coffee beans would need to be used or purchased from the distributor. And it's possible that the business sees opportunity to save funds, really not probably caring about the quality that much, but just simply save the funds by purchasing coffee from third party. Once the volumes in the contract, let's say there's a minimum amount of 10 kilograms that need to be purchased for the business to have a coffee equipment with a discount or for free. And such business can switch away from the original coffee to some other coffee, cheaper coffee, once the minimum amounts are used. There can be also other conclusions based on this type of information. But you see, there are many items that we can learn only by seeing the differences or seeing the discrepancies in data on produced coffees versus sold coffees. What else? Really, the health of your machine. And this is more targeted towards companies owning the equipment. So I would say operators owning a fleet of espresso machines. Sometimes that's a fleet of both traditional espresso machines and super automatic machines, maybe even vending coffee machines. So how do you track that? I've seen different approaches, from notebook and pen to Excel sheet. Rarely companies use a platform as Vendon Cloud would be to track machines of variety of kinds. So how do you make sure that your machines are bringing you money? How do you make sure that your machines are bringing your customers money? And how do you make sure that the business that you're leasing the machine or renting the machine to is up and running? It's not like you have the chance to visit the business every week or every month. So having a picture online, so full overview, would allow you to again be certain that your investments are bringing you money and that there are no mistakes or mishappenings happening. So how this solution would really work, or how does it work in real time? So, of course, we need the traditional espresso machine for the start, the machine that will create the data. Then VBox 2 is the hardware device from Vendon, which is being connected to the espresso machine. And this hardware device is collecting data, and through mobile network, it's sending the data to the cloud. So step 3 is really receiving the cloud, evaluating the data, and making your conclusions. So Vendon has already started developing telemetry for traditional machines. We have, at this point, one special project in our portfolio, which was developed in partnership with the espresso machine producer Espresso from Barcelona, Spain. But it really, I'm telling it as a special project because we did something more than usually or normally we will do with all the other coffee machine producers or espresso machine producers. So the basic features that we really look to deliver through the cloud: control of extraction parameters. As I said, you will see how much seconds the beverage was prepared. If you have set time in your recipe for the certain beverage, let's say espresso, that 25 seconds is the extraction time. This is what you need to follow. So with telemetry and with the data on the cloud, you can actually do that. Also, you can see whether technically the machine is up and running. You can see if it's cleaned, if it's back flushed in the end of the day, or even if it's flushed between the beverages. Also something simple and small, but there are baristas who forget to clean the group between espressos and coffees. Also, you can see the consumption reports, and once we get the report data on the sales, we can also conclude different things like which beverage is more popular than another. Let's say you could see that people are drinking espressos in the evening and cappuccinos in the morning. You can think maybe I should push a bit marketing for the morning cappuccinos with some flavors. So that type of data that we can deliver will help you make these decisions. So for whom this type of solution would be really intended to, I would say everyone working with coffee industry. Well, of course, not people selling the green coffee beans, but once the beans are roasted, we know that coffee roasters sell their coffee under contracts. They would be definitely interested that their coffee is being prepared according to standard. Cafe manager would like to see that their team is skillfully working or trained skillfully, and they know how to manage different situations without producing loss or producing low quality beverage. Machine manufacturers would be also gaining information about how their machines are working on field. Baristas would learn about the quality of the beverages from their co-workers, and also that their own preparations have been top quality at all times. So technical service companies would also learn about the reasons why maybe there was a breakdown, or you can prevent the breakdown by planning maintenance in a timely manner. So there are different situations where different people can gain benefits out of these three really verticals of data: quality, sales data, and technical health. So that is in essence what we are already doing with Vendon and what we will focus even more in the coming year. So we are planning to announce more machines being connected, looking forward to the benefits that we will bring to many professionals in the coffee industry. Thanks for being in the presentation so far. If you have questions, then now it's good time to ask them. So there's a question about coffee quality and if extraction time is the only thing to track. Of course not. I would say you would also need to track the coffee use, meaning you should use scales by the grinder. There are grinders which can deliver you the scale functionality within the grinder itself. Of course, you would need to track the water quality, but those are things which you usually kind of set up and they continue, being fixed. And then you measure them once a week, maybe once a month, or you maintain them. But extraction time is something that does change on a daily basis, and sometimes even on an hourly basis. If your flow of the coffee shop is also varying, maybe you have many people in the morning and not so many afternoon. So maintaining the same extraction time is really the best way how to look for your quality, how to maintain your quality in the coffee shop. Okay, so yes, Dr. Coffee is an interesting case. It's a very promising brand now entering into Europe. Dr. Coffee, we can connect to Dr. Coffee if the machine has MDB protocol enabled. Really not enabled, but included. When you order Dr. Coffee machine in the factory, you must inform them that you would like to have MDB connectivity in the machine, usually used for payment solutions. So Vendon VBox then can connect to Dr. Coffee machine. And the really neat thing is that you can have both Dr. Coffee machine and some traditional espresso machine like La Cimbali on the same cloud. So you would have the data on the same platform.
Right, that Vendon is running these filter machines.
So that's a tricky question, to be honest. I know that we can connect to Faema machines, the ones which are super automatic. What considers the traditional Faema machines, that's a future for a generic solution. So if the question is about filter machines, that's probably, if I understand it correctly, then filter machine would be something where you like produce a batch of black coffee through a filter. Those usually do not facilitate any payment solutions. Also, Vendon has not thought about connecting to that type of machine because it's really producing a large volume of black coffee, if I understand the question right. So that would be something that we cannot connect to. But filter machines and FAEMA, it's something maybe I don't understand correctly, because filter machines to me would be big batch brewing or hand brewing machines for like a drip coffee. And FAEMA brand, part of the Cimbali group, is where they produce either traditional espresso machine or super automatic espresso machines.
Metrics do you measure and how do you?
So if we speak about traditional coffee, traditional espresso machine, then we measure the preparation time of the beverage. We cannot really, nobody can access and measure the amount of coffee being used. Well, if you connect to the grinder, it's a different story. But if you connect to the machine does not know how much coffee is being put into the filter. Therefore, we don't measure that. We measure how long did it take for water, certain amount of water that you have set up for your recipe, let's say 40 grams. How long does it take for the water to pass through the coffee? That's called extraction time. Also, water amount is something you set up in the machine. It's very unlikely that it will vary. So if it varies, then we will see the difference in the extraction time. If we see the difference in extraction time, then we need to evaluate this case. What happened? Was there a problem with grind? Was there a problem with coffee dose? So that's a barista skill. Or was there a problem with the equipment? And then it could be that flow meter, faulty flow meter or faulty water pump does not deliver the water amount that you have set up. But we will conclude this only because we evaluate extraction time. So how long did it take to prepare the brew? All right. Seems that there are no more questions. Yeah, well, I think one last thing to answer to anonymous attendee who asked about how we track the brew and how we know the brew is done well. My maybe final words for the presentation for this webinar. Really, people evaluate the brew if the brew is doing well. So no machine will tell you that brew is done well. You will evaluate as a professional, and then you will fix certain parameters like extraction time. You will find your best recipe, maybe it's 30 seconds extraction. You will say, yes, this is my best coffee I can make. And then what you need to do, you need to follow this recipe. And with telemetry, you can be sure that you see whether you follow or not. So let's use our noses, our tongues to brew the best coffee. And then let's use telemetry to be sure that we keep doing that forever. Thank you for joining and bye.